Oh, hello. I didn't see you there.
Hi there.
Do I say my name again? Do I say, hi, I'm Sheldon again? Or
My name's Ben.
That's it?
Yeah, that's what you got.
Hey everyone, I'm Michele. I'm the Dungeon Master for Fate's Grip. Now what?
A little bit about me.
So when Michele found me in the mountains, I was a little baby, and he brought me and he suckled me to a goat. He said, drink, because one day I'm going to write a campaign and I need you to play in that campaign.
Gosh, not much. Interesting.
I grew up in the 90s in an Italian household. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for a while now. It's been my passion for a very long time, probably about 20 years or so, just under 20 years. I'm old.
I used to previously play quite a bit of D&D growing up.
I am from a small town in Melbourne. I grew up pretty much on the beach. If you had have told me back then that I would be playing in a Dungeons and Dragons campaign on Twitch, I would have asked you what's Twitch and what's Dungeons and Dragons, and had no idea that I would have ended up here.
Actually used to go to a small comic book store and play with random groups a bit too.
I am a huge nerd. I love high fantasy. I love reading fantasy. Love video games.
Love Lego. Love Lego as a child. I used to have as well these crash test dummies that used to, when they crashed together, all the heads popped off and all the limbs popped off. That was fun.
I guess my upbringing was maybe a little bit less D&D. I loved the outdoors. Played a bit of sports growing up, but I was pretty big into video games.
Growing up, I was really into film and television, into music.
I don't know whether this is relevant, but my first CD was Bomb Funk MC's single on Discman. That was really fun. Played that over and over again.
I ended up leaving high school early to study music and film and TV, and was lucky enough to work on a couple of really cool film sets.
I love to travel. I've been to probably 30 plus countries around the world. David Attenborough is a huge influence on, I guess, a lot of places that I chose to go.
I'm really big into disc golf. If any of you who watch us are big fans of disc golf, please let us know in the chat.
Growing up, I typically gravitated a lot more to Warhammer 40k and fantasy battles. Always loved the combat side of things, painting the models, all that other stuff as well.
Role-playing, acting. I did some acting, a fair few years of acting classes, and I think that's what sort of drove me then into the Dungeons and Dragons scene, being someone who was pretty open, pretty happy to speak in a crowd and with a group of people, and decided to, with a group of early high schoolers, delve into a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons.
You know, being really into film and TV, I really dipped my toes into fantasy. Not too much, I'm gonna be honest. Never really was a gamer either. When I met all of my friends, I was kind of forced into playing Dungeons and Dragons. I watched a couple of people play a couple of games and was told if I wanted to keep hanging out with them, I had to play.
My first ever game of D&D was at a friend's place, and I went to this house with all these people I didn't know. He put this massive big book of rules and numbers in front of me. It described all these worlds and places and races, and I just kind of soaked it all up.
So I was kind of pushed into it, but I'm so glad that I was, because it's so much fun.
Ben, who plays Rook, he was actually a friend of my brother's.
Jordan, the dapper man, has been a long-time friend of mine, which I'd met through his brother, funnily enough.
And, you know, I thought he was too good to be hanging out with my brother, so I stole him. I stole him good. And we ended up housemates.
I was a character, a PC, a player character to begin with, so I would just hang back, being every now and again, you know, a Titan or a Paladin or something like that. I had no idea what I was doing.
He kept talking about playing D&D with a group of his work colleagues, and they were, at the time, bouncing around from house to house. And they did have a day here, and I thought, why not sit in?
Unsurprisingly, my first ever character was a cleric. I'm super familiar and I really love playing the cleric class. They're super versatile, so many different spells, so many different ways you can roleplay with them.
I did play with Thaco to hit armor class 0, the worst armor class rule in the history of D&D.
But I actually fell in love with playing the game.
Because there were less people playing, that particular person with all the books left, it was up to me to be the storyteller, and didn't really stop at all. No.
I love that Dungeons & Dragons gives you the ability to roleplay and to shape the environment that you're in. When you're playing a video game, it's really, really linear and you're playing to a world that's built for you. But when you're playing Dungeons & Dragons, you get to build the world around you.
Yes, Emily's bullied me into a lot of things.
I watched Ben and Sheldon and Chris, who played in season 1, all kind of get invited to this wonderful Dungeons & Dragons campaign that Michaela was throwing together.
Maybe first friendship and then after.
And got really jealous and invited myself. Luckily enough, Michaela said it was okay.
They got interested, these friends of mine, into Dungeons and Dragons. Or not really. I just told them to.
We love to roast each other and we can be pretty savage about it, but that's what makes it fun.
I'm really, really lucky to be able to DM and, you know, at my old ripe age, continue to do it.
And since then we've created, over 90 episodes of something really amazing,
and thus born was Fate's Grip.
I've got some really good friends out of it too.
I'm looking forward to not dying. Starting off at level 1 poses some challenges, and Michaela has a habit of insta-killing my character. So I'd like to see how far I can push that.
And I can't wait for season 2 to be, you know, a Twitter mania with people siding with people, hashtags.
It has been a wonderful ride. I cannot wait to see what season 2 has in store.
I mean, that friendship there is one of a kind, I think, and I'm really fortunate for that.